Francis Xavier School Board of Trustees is set to meet today.
And this is the first board meeting since a chain of departures from the school system. Emily Roberts live outside Xavier High School. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Tammy Emerson. The board is meeting with 4 fewer people involved in the school system after resignations and terminations. The board is meeting without former trustee Chris Wolski just more than a week after his resignation. The board also announcing interim president Katie Heim resigned. Xavier High School principal Mike Mothy fired for violating the Green Bay Diocese Our Promise to Protect policy. While the Xavier school system hasn't said what exactly Mothy violated, the policy relates to creating an environment that protects children and anyone at risk from harm. Superintendent Dr. John Revisa also fired for violating policy by failing to meet reporting requirements with the ongoing investigation into Mothy. The Board of Trustees meeting is set for 5:30 tonight. On the website, on the board page, it says those meetings are open to the public, but anyone hoping to address the board needs to submit a request 2 weeks ahead of time. Live in Appleton, Emily Roberts, Action 2 News.